In this episode, how to evaluate numbers raised to negative fractional exponents. Coming up, back into action. Hey guys, today I will show you how to evaluate numbers raised to negative fractional power or fractional exponent, or rational power or rational exponents is precisely the same thing. So if you are given a negative power, let's say any base a raised to the negative power, let's say p, it's precisely the same thing. It's equivalent 1 over a to the p power. So basically it indicates the reciprocation. So all you need to do is just take the reciprocal. So 1 over a to the p. Say you have been given something like this, 9 to the negative a half. So all you need to do is just take the reciprocal. So 1 over, so basically you could match up. Your base is 9, so your a is 9. And your entire power, so your p is a half. Do not be freaked out that a fraction, that just your power. So treat it as an entire expression, as an entire number. So do not get mixed up, do not get confused, do not get frustrated with this fractional power. So let's call it p. So all you need to do is just write this 9, and this power goes, this a half goes as a power for this 9. Now, all you need to do is just evaluate this 9 to a half power. And basically, I do have a separate video on how to evaluate numbers raised to fractional powers or fractional exponents. And the link will be down below in the description box, and you could check out later if you need extra help with this. But all that does, you could simply use this property. So your n is 1 and your bottom number, your denominator, is 2. So it becomes, so if you have any number, let's say a raised to a half, it's the same thing as a square root of this number a. So basically your n again is 1 and your m is 2. So since we don't write explicitly these 2 as the index of a square root, so it's implied, it's understood to be 2. So the default is 2. And also a, any number raised to the first power, is just the same number. So you could ignore this one at this point. So all that means is just 1 over, and this fractional power we can turn into a square root of 9. So, and all you need to do is just figure out, since 3 times 3 or 3 squared gives you this 9, so the square root of 9 is just 3. And you end up getting a third as an answer for this problem. So it's just a fancy word of saying that 9 to a negative a half. So it's just a third. Now, in the same way, likewise, say you have been given 64 raised to a negative a third. So I'm going to take the reciprocal 1 over 64 raised to the power a third. So again, apply this negative fractional exponent rule, if you will. Now, again, at this point, turn it into radical, or turn it into a root form. So it becomes 1 over, so your bottom number m is just 3, so it's gonna be the third root of 64 goes underneath your root symbol. And since your top number is 1, so any number raised to the first power is just the same number, so it remains the same. So we could simply ignore omitted at this point. So all you need to do is just figure out, so the third root of 64, so ask yourself, what number has to be multiplied by itself 3 times, since you have the third root, gives me this 64. And the answer is 4, since 4 times 4 times 4 gives me back, leaves me this 64. So the final answer, so it's gonna be just 1 over 4. So that's your final answer. Moving on. So say you have been given 27 raised to the negative 2 over 3. Likewise, in the same way, so you want to take the reciprocal. So 1 over 27 raised to the power of 2 over 3. Again, you don't want to change anything in this power. Keep it as is. Treat it as a single, as an entire power. All you do is just this negative, so it indicates this reciprocation, okay? So, and notice this negative, it doesn't change the value of this fraction. Now, all you want to do is just convert it and turn it into a radical form. So you could basically match up. So your top number m is 2 and your bottom number m is 3. So keep this one on top. So 3 goes as an index for your radical symbol, for your root symbol. 27 goes on inside, underneath. And all you need to do is just raise it to the second power. So again, I'm going to use this first line for this formula because you could potentially avoid working out a huge numbers, because if you are using this line, you have to first of all raise 27 to the second power and after take the third root. So you don't want to deal with these huge large numbers, so you could potentially avoid it by applying this part of this formula. So all you need to do first of all, work out the cube root of 27. So just ask yourself, what number I have to multiply by itself 3 times in order to get this 27, and the answer is 3, since 3 times 3 times 3 gives me 27. So it simplifies, it reduces to 3, and all you need to do is just raise this. I'm running out of space. All you need to do is just raise this 3 to the second power, and it's gonna be just 9. So the final answer for this problem is just 1 over 9. Now, moving on, let's say you have been given something like this, a fraction raised to a negative fraction. Well, so first of all, since the negative power indicates reciprocation, all you need to do is just swap the top and bottom of this fraction. So turn it over. So 9 goes on top of my fraction and 25 goes on bottom. And you keep the same power, but your power becomes positive at this point. So again, since the negative power indicates this reciprocation, so all you do is just swap over. So turn top and bottom of your fraction. So now, and at this point, all you want to do is just rewrite it, turn it into this radical form. So 2 number goes as a index for your radical symbol, but since it happens to be 2, so it's implied to be 2. We don't write 2 explicitly over here, so it's just a square root. 9 over 25, this entire fraction goes underneath your root symbol, and all this thing raised to the third power, so cubed. So recall that square root of a fraction can be broken down, can be split up as a square root of top over square root of bottom. So you could take a square root separately from top and bottom, and it simplifies to just, so square root of 9 over square root of 25. I'm going to spell it out at this point, raised to the third power. And since square root of 9 is just 3, and square root of 25 simplifies, reduces to 5, all you need to do is just take this fraction and raise to the third power. So, and since 3, and again, so all you need to do is just raise separately top and bottom to this power. So since 3 cubed gives me 27, 3 times 3 times 3, over 5 cubed, that would leave me with 125. So it comes out to be 27 over 125. So you would be left with this answer. Well, with this being said, I hope it has been helpful to you. Huge thanks for watching and train your brain. I know everyone hates maths, but if you like my video, please hit this like, share with your friends, leave the comments down below, and be sure that smash that subscribe button so if you haven't, so you'll not miss out my new videos. Numbers raised to negative fractional exponents. Negative fractional exponents. Okay, go.